It's quite interesting, Ambrose, to listen to you talk about the world economy. And it kind of reminded me about the last time I was in Swaziland. Because what happened was that I was invited to speak at a conference here at the Royal Swazi, okay? And I was the last speaker. But I come over, like it was a 2.5-day program, and I come over on the second evening, sort of like last night, and I flew in. And I get up in the morning, I went down, they had a speaker that was on before me for he was on for about an hour or so. And his specialty at that time was in 1998, okay, and I was living in South Africa at that time. His specialty was Y2K. How many remember Y2K? Yeah, that was when the world was going to come to an end. Do you remember that? Do you remember what you did on old New Year's Eve, right? You drank yourself to death. Because you thought the world's all over. Okay? And what happens, this consultant, he was an IT consultant, what he did is that he got up there and he told these people how bad things were and what was going to happen to them, okay, and what was in store for the future. And he explained at that time that in Europe and in America, about 40% of the businesses and the governments at that time were compliant for Y2K. And then in Southern Africa, we were sitting around 15% within the governments and within the corporations. And he said, folks, he said, we're lining ourselves up for a disaster. And he scared the pants off the people. And what he did is, as he finished off, he says, I want you to imagine, he said, it's the first year of the year 2000, or first day of the year 2000. And he said, and you wake up an hour and a half late for work. And he said, the reason why, he said, and you're already uptight because you're late, he said, it's because that computerized alarm clock of yours was not compliant with Y2K. Okay? And he said, so you're uptight. He says, you go over and grab the telephone to call the office, and by gosh, he said, the entire telephone system's down for the same reason, because they weren't ready. He said, you go up, you take your coffee, and you put it into the microwave oven, and you hit the button, and it's got the same problem, it's not compliant. So you can't have your coffee. He says, and then you go out, and he says, you go to get into your car. He said, and you go to start your car, and he said, your car, because it's electronic, it's got the same problem, and it won't start. He said, and lucky for you, he said, there's a guy across the street who has an old car that's 25 years old. And he said, would you like a lift downtown? And you say, I'd like a lift downtown. And on the way downtown, you say to the guy, I said, would you mind if stopping off at the ATM machine so I can get some money? And you walk up to the ATM machine and you put your card in, and nothing happens. You can't get any cash out because the entire banking system is down for the same reason. And he says, folks, he said, that could be the first day of the year 2000 for you. And he said, have a good year. And he left the stage. And I was sitting with the Master of Ceremonies as he walked by, okay? And as he walked by, the Master of Ceremonies said, where's he going? I said, I think he's going straight out the door. And he walked straight out the door, and then he said, do you think he's coming back? I said, I hope he doesn't. Okay? And he didn't come back. And it was his grand exit, okay, to leave an impact with the people. So the Master of Ceremonies had to get up and deal with the situation, and he got up and he said, well, folks, he said, I'd like to say thanks to our previous speaker, even though he's not here. And he said, but we now have Bill Gibson, who's living in South Africa, and he's from Canada. Okay? And he says, and he's going to leave us on a high. He's going to make us feel good. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay? Now, as I was walking up the aisle, I started to pray, because I thought there's only one person that's got the answer to this, and it's not me. And all of a sudden an idea came to me, and I picked up the microphone, and I said to those people, I looked at them, I said, folks, there always is another way of looking at things. Who would agree? I said, just imagine, it's the first day of the year 2000, and you wake up an hour and a half late for work because your computerized alarm clock is not compliant with Y2K. And instead of getting uptight, you think, I've been working too hard lately. I think I'll just take the day off. And you go over to pick up the telephone to call the office, and the entire telephone system's down. Instead of getting uptight, you think, great, because I don't even like my boss. And I don't even have to talk to him today. And then you go out and you take your coffee and you put it into the microwave oven and you hit the button and nothing happens. And you think, just like everybody thinks, you know, I've been drinking far too much coffee lately. I think I'll have a nice healthy glass of juice. And you open the fridge and you take that glass of juice out, or if it's your day off, some of you might say, I'm going to start with a cold beer. And then you go out and you get in your car and your car won't start. Instead of getting uptight, you think, you know something, I've been eating a lot of food lately. I need a little exercise. And you go over to the garage and you open the garage and you take your mountain bike out that you haven't driven for 5 years, and you get on it and you start heading downtown, and it's a lovely Swazi day with the sun shining and the birds are singing, and you're thinking, wow, isn't it great to be alive in Southern Africa? And you stop off at the ATM machine and you take your card and you put it into the ATM machine and no money comes out. And you realize that the entire banking system is all screwed up and they've lost all the records. And you get in the middle of the street and you start dancing and you start singing. Because now you know you don't owe any more money. Right? So, look, I'm here to tell you there's another way of looking at things. Hey, and we're going to take a look at the various things that can be done that can take and make a difference in the business. And by the way, how many people here notice that I have a bit of an accent? And where am I from? No.
Top author, speaker and entrepreneur, Bill Gibson from Canada, established Knowledge Brokers International in 1996. The vision was the exclusive offering of world-class training systems and processes to the corporate market world. Through the immediate acceptance in the marketplace of Bill Gibson's sales development, sales management, and personal marketing systems combined with results-based and sustainability-producing templates, KBI has developed the reputation of being the provider of the most comprehensive sales and sales management development and implementation systems available in the